Hey guys, this is Rom with Fishers of Men Outdoor Adventures. I'm back to you. I made my 3.5 mile walk up the hill and I'm just practicing a little bit of spotting. It's probably about 10:30 right now, so there's not many deer out right now. But what I do want to do is I want to show you some things that you don't want to do first, and then give you some examples. If you're coming from places like Texas or Georgia, uh, or Oklahoma, you know, all the different topography is different. The woods are different. Here in central Texas, we have a lot of oak, live oak, red oak, white oak, and ash juniper cedar trees. You know, you get to the piney woods of East Texas or Georgia or Alabama, you're going to have something a little bit different. So every hunting opportunity and style is going to be a little bit different. Here in Texas, a lot of people hunt over feeders and just open fields in general. And so when they go out west, they don't really know how to look for animals in their natural habitat. And this happens to when I used to live over in East Texas as well. Hunting out there in the piney woods of East Texas, basically we hunted over feeders a lot. They got old for me. Wasn't much challenge in it, so I got away from it. Not to knock you if you do, but when I went out west for the first time, it was a big difference because there's so much openness, and you just don't even know where to begin looking for deer. So the first thing I want to do is show you what I did wrong many times. And so coming out of Texas, a lot of times what we would do is we would sit on the edge of a field and we would glass this field. Now this field that we're looking in right now, this is probably right here to this trailer out in the middle of these woods. That's about 900 yards. And so if we zoom out, I'm sorry, let me refocus. I hit the wrong one. If we zoom out, this is a big field. This field's probably 500-600 acres. And so a lot of times when we hunt in Texas, we'll sit out on the edge of a field like this and we'll wait for the animals to come out into the open and browse. And it gives us a big open area to hunt. We can see a lot, and the animals feel free to move about early in the morning and late in the afternoon. You might see this up in the mountains where they come out and do that. Generally, I've only seen that once or twice. If you have a big wide open area like this, they're going to find ditches and gullies and things like that to use the topography for their advantage when they cross this land, that if you're just glassing over this, you'll probably never see them. If you are to see them, it's going to be right there. You see underneath those oak trees, there's some shadows. They'll be moving right along that edge in the mountains. They're not going to be out in the open as much as they would be here in Texas. Not something this large. They will be out in the open in some smaller fields and meadows, avalanche chutes and things like that, but just not out like here in Texas. Now, if we pan over, we look. By the way, this is using the krotos. Cabela's krotos spotting scope, the 20 by 60 by 85 millimeter, really does have a great image. Right here, as we look across this field here, that is about 1.5 to 2 miles away, and I'm zoomed out as far as I can. That's 20 power, really bright, crisp, clear image there, and really the camera doesn't even do as good of a job as it is. So now we're looking here. What we see was you see that the field is broken up by different brush, and we have cedar trees, mixed size of cedar trees. We got some oak trees to the left. This would be a great small area to glass. You know, those deer like to hang up and lay down at the base of these trees, especially underneath those oak trees. Some of the bigger cedars, they'll tuck themselves up in bed for the day, especially in a clump like that right there, right in the middle. They'll clump up and they'll hang in there all day, wait till the evening, come out and feed. This is something more like what you'll see in the mountains when you're glassing. is you're going to look for little openings like this. You're not going to be looking for the bigger openings. The little openings, you'll catch the animals moving much more through smaller openings that are broken up by brush. So as we look to the top of this hill here, we're looking about 6 miles away right now. We can zoom in to the top of this hill. I'm going to zoom in all the way, and I'm going to focus it. Now, this is really going to push the maximum range of this spotting scope to its limits here. But still pretty good crisp picture for that far away. So, but to see a deer moving in here, you might catch them moving out of those small pinyon oaks at the top, below the big cedar trees, and moving down into the cedar trees below. That might be a great place to catch them moving early in the morning or late in the evening. We have a little drainage right here. That is a great place in the mountains to look for something like that. A lot of times they like to come out there. They'll be bedded up and to the left, and they'll come out in the evenings to work those drainages. A lot of times in the mountains, those drainages hold moisture, and so there's plenty of food and forage for them to do. So like I said, we're pushing this spotting scope to the max here. We're looking about 6.5, 7 miles away, but just kind of give you an idea of this spotting scope and how good it does. For the money, it's wonderful. I think I paid $3.99 on eBay for it used. It came with the box and everything, but I think they're under $600 brand new. So it might be something if you're interested. But this is on the Vortex Optics Pro GT tripod with small rig head. You can see it's just right. If I just come in here and I drop it, this is max magnification. That's looking about 2,500 yards away. There's a tripod, a hunting tripod there to your left, overlooking a small meadow. And you can see there's just no vibration, just absolutely crystal clear image. And I really enjoy how good it is. It has changed my hunting in the mountains dramatically. You know, the first few times I went, I did not take a tripod or spotting scope, and I just tried to glass off of my chest binoculars like I always did in Texas. And let me tell you, if you do that, it will take luck to find animals. The first 2 years I didn't see anything unless it was on private land feeding out in the open, just because we would just look over animals and not see them. But with having a stable platform like this, you're able to pick up animals. You're able to pick up things that you would not see with your naked eye. You would just glass over, and you could just move real slowly and just pause and just look, see if you see any movement, see if you see any ears, any horizontal lines like a back or anything like that. Then you just move on. And right here, we're just you can see that hawk just flew through the middle of the scope. That was pretty cool. But you just continue to move and look, and well, actually those look like crows, not hawks. But you just continue to move and pan and stop and look and just see if you see any animals. And that's how I do it right there. Now you come down here, we'll look at some cows. These cows are a long ways off. These cows are probably over 2 miles away, and you can see them pretty clear. So you see if that would be an elk bedded down right there, you'd be able to see it, even if it was bedded down up underneath that tree, which would be more likely, unless it's a super cold day and they're trying to get sun. But more likely they would be bedded up underneath that tree. The big oak tree with the cedars around it would be a great place to find elk. Of course, not around farm equipment, but nevertheless, you have to practice where you can. Here in Texas, we don't have the luxury of going to the mountains to practice our ability to look for game. So of course, the best times to get out and practice your skills, it's not at 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning, but more likely daylight and dusk. So if you're able to get out at those times, get out in those times, practice your ability, um, learn where the animals are naturally in their environment. Learn to pick those out. Learn to find out where they're bedded and the areas that they're bedded. This takes time. It's like an investment. You're going on a hunt. It's going to take you across country. You want to make the most of it. Make the most of it. Invest into it. Um, and that's all. That's the best advice I can give you when it comes to learning how to spot animals out in the wild. We're gonna look at some cows, and I'll let y'all go for the day. These cows here, I just ranged them, and they are 1.2 miles away, right there. 1.2 miles away, sitting there around that hay bale. It's a pretty good image for 1.2 miles away. You can see those cows clear as day. The mama and her baby. Well, thank y'all for joining us today as we learn at how to use a spotting scope. And this is using a universal Amazon special uh, phone mount. I think I paid like $10 for it, and it works good. So you don't have to go out and buy all the fancy phone scopes. They're nice. They're easier to set up, but if you don't mind setting these up, these work pretty good too.